best as I understood it, it was to take us outside of the boundaries that are the class walls, to take a step beyond that.
And to reach out to the outside community.
It's a project that goes outside the school walls, has real-world applications.
Going outside of our comfort zone, outside of the four walls of this classroom.
It's about how there's so many boundaries in society, and it's our job as teachers to try to get our students to think about crossing boundaries and
to take us out of our comfort zone in order to try to direct change.
Rather than just kind of sticking with conventional education methods, we were crossing boundaries into other
meeting new
parts of the
people
community.
outside of from just within our classroom and going out into the community.
what I did is I went into an elementary school and I led 4 open gym lunch hours.
I reached across my boundary of my school and my residence home and tried to affect teachers through a big website that I created full of different tools and activities for students with gifted needs.
My boundary object project was looking into the world of Down syndrome.
We wanted to figure out how to best equip teachers with how to incorporate kids with autism in the classroom. So we went and worked with Autism Calgary.
Facilitated the workshop for our classmates who are future teachers, and then we had her come in as a guest speaker to offer a real life perspective, and then we put together a handbook for teachers, both a digital copy and a hard copy, for them to take into their classrooms when they encounter autism in their classrooms, kind of a resources. We also made a website.
A large part of it was an interview that we actually had with the school principal at Buchanan School. We sat down, we talked with, we basically laid out quickly what the benefits of standing desks are and if there was a possibility of maybe putting some in the classrooms.
And he had a budget that he said they were going to be redoing their library and that he would have some money to possibly buy some standing desks. And he did. He ended up buying some standing desks and says they're working very well for them.
I did a brochure for new immigrant families coming into Canada.
I decided to change the paradigm of physical education in the way that we assess it. And so I decided to go to HPEC conference, which is a Health and Physical Education Council, and taught a session with 25 teachers. Just a simple notion that you can make a difference, you just have to be willing to try hard enough.
I think the fact that the first day I showed up, we actually had to turn away kids. I think I had like 60 students show up and I only had half a gym. So just seeing that kids do want these opportunities and that we can provide them if we just take the time and effort to do so.
Most rewarding was actually seeing it come together at the end and seeing how cool it looked after it was all done.
I think actually seeing that the principal took it seriously and really did see the benefits of what we were researching to the point of bringing them into his library.
And what was the most challenging part?
Trying hard enough. I felt as though, the most difficult part was just getting out of my comfort zone and being willing to step out into the world.
I guess narrowing the topic down to begin with, because
Yeah, I just feel like we took on a lot.
Time-consuming,
Yeah.
but rewarding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because everyone thinks about how they can impact the world or be a positive influence and make changes, but then when you actually have to do it, it's so hard to think of something practical, something that will work and be easy with time restraints and money restraints that you have. So yeah, just coming up with the idea.
validated what we were looking at, that we weren't just making this up out of whole cloth, that this was a real issue and that it had a real place inside of the school.
And they also thought it was super awesome that I would take initiative to go do something like that, and I think it influenced how they saw me during my practicum. And I know that the kids really enjoyed having me there, and they were just more comfortable with me. And I think their parents appreciated it too, actually, that I came in and gave that opportunity for them when they usually don't get that chance.
And so the 25 out of the 25 teachers, 7 reviews that were filled in, and all of them enjoyed my presentation. All of them saw the need to improve physical education and thought that the ways in which I introduced a change were some of the best ways I ever heard. So.
I learned a lot about myself, and
I learned that it's definitely possible to cross boundaries if you put in the effort and the time. Obviously, you're not going to be graded for the rest of your life to do something like this, but I think it's really valuable. And yeah, it just shows how you can make an influence and be a good example to younger students too.
Learning in an unconventional way,
I'm definitely never going to see physical education the same again.
just getting the real life perspective.
It was just so beneficial to actually meet somebody rather than just reading from a textbook, because you can only get so much from sitting behind a computer or reading from a book. So to actually talk with somebody who knew autism really well and knew kids with autism really well was such a meaningful experience, and it really deepened the amount of knowledge that we had, I think.
influential art can be in certain people's lives.
It's in a nutshell, sometimes the answers can be simpler than you realize.
I also learned that I really loved lesson plan, which was really fun to learn, and that I can stretch the bounds of my creativity beyond what I thought I could before.